We've seen human walls before in Formula One, but this one was different. McLaren just emerged from one of the most intense technical inspections of the season, and they did it with a smirk. After thermal scans, brake duct suspicions, and wild whispers about exotic materials, the FIA gave its final word. But it's not the verdict that has the paddock buzzing. It's what it means for the future. Because if McLaren isn't breaking the rules, then what exactly are they doing? Red Bull thought they'd found something clever, something illegal. They weren't bluffing either. They came armed with data. Thermal imagery from Miami showing unusually cool areas around McLaren's rear wheels. To the untrained eye, it looked like nothing. But to Red Bull's engineers, it hinted at something sophisticated, maybe even forbidden. Theories exploded. Water vapor injection, liquid cooling systems, or the most intriguing of them all, phase change materials. These are substances that absorb heat by changing states, solid to liquid, then silently dissipate thermal buildup. The result? Perfect tire temps without traditional cooling. It all sounded too wild, too advanced, too good to be legal, and maybe it was. Because after inspecting Oscar Piastri's car in meticulous detail, the FIA reached their conclusion. Everything was legal. No hidden systems, no exotic vapor loops, no sneaky phase change sorcery. They scrutinized Articles 3.13 and 11.5. They examined the wheel assemblies and brake ducts, and they found nothing that crossed the line. McLaren, at least on paper, was clean. But here's where things get interesting. The FIA didn't just clear McLaren, they clarified a rule, and that rule might change everything. Regulation 10.8.4, it prohibits any system or device whose primary purpose is to heat or maintain brake or tire temperatures unless it does so using natural airflow generated by the car's motion. In plain English, if it heats or cools the brakes, without the car moving, it's illegal. And the key phrase? Primary purpose. If a material or system exists solely to regulate temperature, even if it looks harmless, it's out. So, that phase change theory? Dead in the water. Unless, of course, a team's willing to break the rules outright. Was Red Bull wrong? Not entirely. They did their homework, and they forced the FIA to address a gray area. But in doing so, they might have uncovered something more unsettling. McLaren doesn't need a trick to beat them. And that's what's rattling the paddock now. Because if McLaren's edge isn't hiding in the brake ducts, where is it? According to FIA insiders, it's not one thing. It's everything. Suspension geometry, rear-end balance, aero stability under load, and most critically, how it all interacts with Pirelli's most sensitive compounds. In Miami, McLaren's tire degradation was practically flat. Their stints were longer. Their corner exits were cleaner. Norris and Piastri weren't fighting the car, they were dancing with it. And that doesn't come from a vapor tube or liquid trap. That's engineering harmony. And it's why the rest of the grid should be nervous. While everyone else searched for a smoking gun, McLaren built a machine that doesn't overheat under pressure. But here's the real twist. The FIA might have cleared McLaren today, but they've opened a new front in the tech war. Brake ducts? Old news. The next battle? Flexi wings. Some teams are designing wings that bend under aerodynamic load, yet stay rigid during scrutineering. It's a game of semantics and sensors, and it's one the FIA is preparing to crack down on, just in time for the Spanish Grand Prix. Sound familiar? It should. First it was engine mapping, then flex floors, now wings. Same enforcement, different loophole. And you can bet McLaren is already preparing for it. Because while the spotlight's on their brake ducts today, It'll be on their rear wing tomorrow. As for Red Bull, their frustration goes beyond Miami. They believed they'd cracked McLaren's secret. They thought the data would lead to a penalty. Instead, it led to a rule reminder. Christian Horner hasn't said much, but insiders suggest Red Bull's aero department isn't trying to copy McLaren. They're recalibrating expectations. Because if McLaren's advantage is legal, the bar just got higher. Ferrari's noticed. Their degradation isn't as graceful. Mercedes is still stuck in development limbo, chasing balance but lacking consistency. Aston Martin, rumored to be planning a major floor upgrade before Austria. And McLaren? They look like they've already arrived. So where does that leave us? Red Bull is still fast, still in the title fight. But the narrative has changed. They're no longer the hunters. They're the ones being hunted. And McLaren? They're no longer the underdog. They're the benchmark. The takeaway isn't that McLaren outsmarted the FIA. It's that they didn't need to. They just outbuilt everyone else. And if this is what they look like in May, just imagine what July will bring. When the flexi-wing bans take effect. When teams scramble to rethink how to cool tires without creating drag. McLaren might not be hiding a trick, but they've made everyone else wish they had one. So what do you think? Did Red Bull overreach? Or is this just the beginning of another chapter in F1's endless technical arms race? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more behind-the-scenes F1 drama and innovation secrets, click on the next video popping up on your screen now.